Oh my.
And that's just to keep it from getting away.
Okay, here we are live finally. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night Live stream. We are at the beautiful Comfort Inn and Suites Friday Night Live stream.
That is not.
Not me.
It's not me.
you? Anyway, look here. Come over here and show them it. There's Mark. We've been shooting today. We met up with Sharonda, who's also in the Great Peach State, and her lovely sister, Jasmine, right?
Yep, Jazzy for short.
Jazzy for short. I can't believe I remembered her name. We got the side chats already rocking. We got 27 out there. We're expecting Chico maybe sometimes here, and Echo and the Bunny Man as well. So we'll start going around the room, and I usually let Chico start off the show, but we're glad y'all are here with us tonight. It's been a rough week for me, and we'll get into some of that later in the evening if you want. But right now we'll say hi to Kyle.
I knew you was going to say that. Give me 1 second.
Well, we'll go to
good. I'm good. I just put a bite of food in my mouth. Trying to choke down dinner. What a week. I was not able to get off to go shooting this morning, and I told Jamie about that yesterday evening when we had dinner together. I was hoping to sneak away for a chili dog and some onion rings. That didn't work either. Boss man's out. The shop foreman was at school or something. I don't know what the heck she was doing, and I ended up getting about 3 hours of overtime, so that ain't all bad, but I did miss out on the chili dogs. Other than that, glad everybody's here. And my dog wants some food, but you ain't getting it.
You missed out on a really fun day of shooting. So we'll let Sharonda talk about all the stuff she shot here in a few minutes. Squatch, how you doing? Welcome in, brother.
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. It's been one of those weeks for me. I finished these up today. We'll call these the man's 40 cal or the 10 millimeter. Finish those up. Sure you guys see them. Those are all my cast and powder coated projectiles. Got those done. Been doing a lot of brass prep, trying to keep my mind off getting low on primers, but that'll come around. They'll be available again. I heard some rumors from my local LGS that he's got big shipments coming in here within the next 30 days. So it seems like it might lighten up a little bit. Everyone's got ammo and their new guns. You know, praise the Lord for that. But I'm ready to get my stockpiles going again. But what have you been into, Crazy Scotsman, domesticated foreigner?
Just hanging in there, man. It's a different time for sure. And you have to watch my words carefully because it's really pushing my buttons. As far as primers and that go, we'll get together, man. I know you were talking about that, and you asked me as well. And I have kind of a plan on that one, so I'll get with you and let you know what that is. But good to be here. It's Friday, thankfully, and always good to see Jamie, and we got Mark with us, so it's a bonus.
Got a twofer.
And then we got Sharonda.
Yep, I am down here visiting my nephew for the first time. It's his first birthday this weekend, and I'm popped on for a second because I just wanted to make everybody on the panel jealous to let y'all know that I hung out with Chico, Jamie, and Mark today, and we shot up a whole bunch of stuff. And I kept doing 1 or 2 shots, and Mark and Jamie kept making me shoot more. And I didn't want to shoot up most of their ammo. But I mean, do you tell 2 armed men that you're not going to shoot their stuff and they can probably shoot better than you?
I mean, do you tell 2
A
So it was
likely
fun.
story.
Yeah, right. So I just wanted to make all you guys jealous and say I got to hang out with the Bad Influence gang today.
Should we tell our goblin story?
Yes. Okay. So I don't know if any of you guys were listening to Tuesday, the Reloading podcast, but there's a gentleman called Hunt Shoot Off Road that has his own store and he sells these T-shirts called Brass Goblin with Schmeagle on them, looking like a brass crackhead. So while we were at the range, there was some gentleman wasn't even shooting. He was just there to sweep up everybody's brass, and he literally looked like a brass goblin. No exaggeration. None. I
And
took a
he
picture.
almost got in trouble too, didn't he?
He did by Jamie.
The
I
silent
thought,
majority speaks up.
boy, if you could see the look on Jamie's face, I thought he was gonna shoot out Superman Jeff Rays.
So I don't get mad quick or easy. But this guy, all right, listen, I've got two ladies here that are our guests at the range. Both of them are shooting my firearms, shooting ammunition that I reloaded. Sharinda shooting 40, Jasmine shooting 9mm. The brass is ejecting out of the guns right down there toward him. And before it quits rolling, he's scooping it up, putting it in his 5-gallon bucket. And I'm like, you
Oh,
stealing?
let's not forget to mention this guy brought his own bucket and own push broom.
Yes. And a dustpan.
I missed that one.
So
He was
he's
a man.
do what, Kyle?
He was a man on a mission.
He was on a mission to get as much brass as he dang well could. And I'm talking about not only had it not cooled off, I mean the stuff hadn't even stopped rolling across the
Mm-mm.
concrete yet. I mean, and he's scooping it up. And I looked over at him, I said, "You stealing my brass?" He said, "It's on the ground, it's anybody's." And I'm like, I'm glad I caught myself. Let's just put it that way.
I wouldn't have.
I was gonna say you're a stronger man than me, man. Like when I'm shooting with Daniel, when I'm shooting with Daniel, for example, we split it pretty evenly fair. We count our rounds, we count our brass we're picking up, but we've had a couple people over the years where it's kind of been a fight, but we don't hold our tongues.
No, not you.
I don't believe that.
What can I say?
Well, I tell you how I feel about that. Before I'm picking up any brass that is not mine, I'm asking first. And if they don't reload and they don't want their brass and they're not going to do anything but leave it laying there and step on it, then I'll pick it up. Otherwise, if they say, yeah, I reload or whatever, the guy next to me down on the rifle end of the range, he was sweeping his up. He's shooting AR-10, and he's that 308 brass is, you go to the trouble to do that brass prep and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Thanks, soldier. I'll have to meet up with you and get that bucket of brass. We can always use brass.
Yeah, when you go through the whole process, especially on rifle, you're going through the whole entire process and taking the time and making sure it's right and customizing it to your rifle, and then someone else tries to steal that brass. No.
Man, it was sad when MCK and Jamie were pulled out the good stuff. He literally hovered around us to try to pick up those specific pieces of brass.
Tell him he's
I
about
would have chewed. I would have chewed his ass out.
damn right.
And
You
then
are-
some.
I said to you, dude, go find somewhere else to steal. Okay.
When I
And
think
Big
when he
L,
saw the,
hell no.
I think when he saw the look on my face, he thought he better back off a minute.
I'll say this, man. It's lucky I wasn't there because I would have. Yeah, you know how that would have ended.
Yeah, and it almost ended that way with me, but I was able to catch myself because before I knew it, I wasn't saying anything. I was starting to step that way, and I know Charlie, right?
Here's the
You're stronger. You're a stronger man than me, man. I would have tore into him.
Here's the way I picture Jamie. It takes a little bit more to get him upset than it would me. But once he gets there, he's a gentle giant. He's going to come in there and just raise a mortal hell.
Well, see, that's the thing. If you're able to get him going, trust me. If you've got me, Kyle, or anyone else around you, I guarantee you we're going up before he is, and we see what he's going through, and we're going through a hell of a lot more than he is. It's not going to end pretty.
Big Al, I reckon it is, bud.
Well, according to his rules.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, he brought his wife and his son and his daughter-in-law, I assume. That's who it were. But his son is a big old goomer, and he's sitting over there on the wood line. He's like, I'm not getting involved unless somebody shoots my dad for taking their brass, you know? And I'm like, yeah, this. Anyway.
Yeah, I was actually quite shocked because down here in the South, I thought, it was a little bit more range hospitality, but we actually are more polite about it up yonder where I'm from. That guy was just rude.
Well, part
Okay,
of my
this-
French, but he was just a phallus head. That's all you can say
Well,
about
I
it.
mean, a good example is like last week. Last week I went to do some more training and do another course and all the rest of it. And there was people there with various guns and various types of brass and all the rest of it. I let them pick it all up because I didn't want to have to deal with the mixed brass because some of those calibers were a lot smaller than what I'm shooting. And I don't have to deal with trying to sort through all of that. And there's another guy there at reloads. I'm like, take what you want. I don't care. And that's how it should be. They should be talking to each other. Hey, you know what? You're doing this, you're doing that, and breaking it up and being that way that we are. We're all, we're a group. We try to stick together. And that's how it should be. But unfortunately, every now and then, just like Jimmy dealt with, you get that one guy that's like, oh, no, it's on the ground, it's mine.
Oh, I ain't told you the best part yet. Get a load of this now. Okay. The guy is up there without paying, obviously without paying, because he starts trying to suck up after I confronted him. He's like, if anybody is not paid, it's almost time for the game warden to make his rounds and check to see if you got the receipt on your rearview mirror. So if you ain't paid, you better go pay and all that crap. And then he saw me. I started picking up my brass before he could get over there and pick it and sweep it up. And so once he saw me doing that, he says, well, this ain't going real well. So he's up there not shooting, calls for a cold range. Is the range cold? Is the range cold? Didn't he, Mark?
Oh,
And he
yes, he
made
did.
everybody stop shooting. And then he went in front of every bench all the way down the line, sweeping up everybody's brass that had gone in front of the bench. That's when I wanted to shoot the SOB right there.
I would have tore him a new one. big time, and then some.
That's when you pull out the 22 and start shooting and let them pick that up.
Nobody had 22s.
Well, that's when you pull the 44 out and go, all right, dude, you really want to go there?
I mean,
Well,
I've never seen anything like that before. I was like, wow,
That's
that was new to
crazy.
me.
I wouldn't stand for it, Jamie. I'm surprised you did.
I think
I
Jamie was just trying to show. I don't know what is it. Not put on the scene because he had guests,
no,
but
I
then
know
I was
what
trying not to
Jamie
put.
is. Jamie tries to show restraint and control, and there's times that's acceptable, but when you got someone pulling this kind of crap, you should have just let loose.
I agree with the 22 statement. Just start unloading 22, and when it's laying there on the ground, go, yo, Clara Clifford, the cleaning lady, you're missing a few.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'd shoot the rest of the damn day.
He's
No,
probably
if it's on the ground, it's everybody's. Well, I don't want that. I said, but I want mine back. Jackass.
I'm guessing he's just selling it because most reloaders have a little bit better etiquette than that when it comes to their brass. They know what they have into it.
I mean,
This guy had none.
from the way it sounds, it's honestly, it's probably not even that much of a reloader. He's probably just one of those, just like you said, he's probably sitting on it, ain't doing anything with it.
Yeah, selling it for scrap or selling it at gun shows or something.
He is melting it down and making other stuff out of it.
He's making him a new pair of brass balls.
Brass monkey.
And again, you know, I'm surprised, man. Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't step up and say something else because I would have. I would stand for that.
I love what Daniel said.
I know, right?
I can't see the chat.
So this is the way the thought, you know, it hit my mind, and I'm sure y'all could see it on my face. I'm gonna beat his ass, okay? But I was able to pull that back because I'd already told him, look, man, you're stealing our brass. You know, basically is what I said to him. But anyway, anything else was going to be pretty much a physical confrontation, and there were firearms involved, and it wasn't going to end well. So I'm glad I was able to reel it back in as quick as I could because I was already taking half a step toward him. You know,
Down, big dog.
that's just not the right response.
No, we're all in this together. And don't take that comment the wrong way because I'm not talking about we're in all this BS together. We're in this whole community together, and we are trying to learn from each other. We're trying to grow from each other. And in order to do so, we all got to be a part of it. We all got to help each other. And turning around and going to a range and going, I'm taking this, and this, that ain't helping anybody. And if you want to be that kind of ass, leave. None of us want you. Leave. You're not welcome here. We want the people here that are good, wholesome people that want to learn, want to understand, want to grow, want to be a part of the community. And that's it. That's as simple as that. You know, if you can't be a part of that, then why show up?
All right, gentlemen, I just wanted to pop in and say good evening to everybody and make the whole panel jealous that I got to hang out with a few of the cool guys today. I got a nephew to love on and to go eat some dinner and then harass my family.
It was good.
Before you go, tell everybody what all you shot today.
Oh, let's see. I shot 223, 30-06. The Mauser, which was fun, 357, 45, 40, 9. I feel like I'm missing one. 357 lever action. I feel
You
like I'm
shot the
missing one.
586.
The
I gotta
586.
say, you better have shot
Yep.
the 586.
I
You
said-
didn't shoot
I
that.
actually-
You better go back
I-
right now.
I shot that the most, and I only shot like maybe 4 or 5 shots. And Jamie came and looked at the box and said, "You didn't shoot anything." I was like, "Well, Jamie, I know how much these cost." And he's like, "Well, I reloaded them." I was like, "But they're not cheap." Girl, you better shoot that. This thing. Okay.
If a
I had a
man hands
blast.
you a revolver and tells you to shoot it, you better shoot it.
Hey, I stopped arguing after that. After that, I was like, "Can I do that again? Can I do that again? Can I do that again?"
One thing I can tell you though, at Dead Zero last year, that was the cleanest that range has ever been because Chico was a little brass goblin.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this guy really did look like a brass goblin. I took a picture. I'm going to share that later. I think I got one with him looking at it, looking at me take his picture.
That's Instagram worthy.
Yep. It's going on the ground.
I'm
All
sorry,
right,
I
gentlemen.
can't chili dog, sweetie.
That's okay. I think we ate enough for you. But you know, Kyle Carter came out and hung with us too.
That's cool. I love that kid.
So I'll have to try to get back down this way, and we'll have to try to meet up again before it gets cold.
It doesn't get that cold down here.
Yeah, but flying out of KC when it's that cold may mean I may not be getting home because of ice.
Well, damn it. Just stay longer.
So that's not a big deal. Really, it's not.
All you gotta do is call work. Oh, yeah, I got COVID. You'll be
Oh,
covered.
funny. Let's edit that out before you post it tonight.
Okay, before you leave, I got to say one thing. Y'all know how sweet and smiley Sharinda is on YouTube and on the Reloading podcast and on ours on Friday night. I swear to God, the lady is even more sweet in person.
Oh, says no one ever.
You just can't beat Sharinda. I'm telling you, she's a fabulous lady. It was an honor to meet her face to face, and we're all in awe. So one of these
There may
days,
have been hugging involved.
Did anybody get some of those grease-soaked onion rings?
Yes,
Aren't those delicious?
they were good.
and one of these days, I'm going to shoot pigeons with you.
Hey, Jamie, what year did the varsity there in Atlanta open up, Crossing Tech? Was it like 47 or something?
Good night, guys.
Hang on.
Sharinda.
Oh, damn it. I was going to give her some useless information. The very first car hop that the varsity hired finally retired at the age of, I think he was 98. That's saying something. That man loved his job, I guess. Well, that's a way to kill a chat, huh?
Everyone started thinking about
I'm texting Echo. He didn't get his link. We want to continue our beginning reloading series, except for I missed last week, and I don't know where y'all ended up at. So we'll have to let Squatch catch us up on that.
Well, last week we finished up with installing the primers and the bullet insertion, dropping powder. We talked about powder measures and all that. We're just about to the point where we're ready to shoot some rounds that we're putting together. But I didn't know if anyone had any questions. We kind of jumped around pretty quick on our theories on crimping and to crimp or not to crimp. That kind of got a little bit heated sometimes because everyone's opinion varies on that. And,
so I'll jump in on that one. And I know Squatch will agree. I know Jamie will agree. I know Kyle will agree, and many others out there will agree too. But if you're new and you're seeing this, make sure you have a separate bullet seating die and a separate crimp die. Don't use one that has both. Make them separate. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. You'll be much happier, and things will go a lot smoother.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Okay. Miss Kitty, yes, the Varsity is in Georgia. Let me read you this quick little. The Varsity is a restaurant chain iconic in the modern culture of Atlanta, Georgia. The main branch of the chain is the largest drive-in fast food restaurant in the world, taking up 2 city blocks and can accommodate 800 diners. Founded in Ready Kyle, 1928.
Yeah, old soldier already corrected me on that, but it was a WSB article, and they said his car hop number was number 1. So I don't know if they were a restaurant before they became the car hop thing or what, but I thought that was very impressive. And the guy looked pretty worn. And do you remember old Flossie Mae that used to sit in there with the big hat made of fruit, sit there and talk to everybody and sign all the autographs and all that?
Yeah, I remember a lot of that.
Yep. We used to go down there a lot when I was a kid, just passing through or going to a Tech game with neighbors or something like that. And we'd go to the Varsity and everybody get to talk to Flossie Mae.
So we got Wes Covina out there. I don't know if you guys saw Wes Covina's video this week or not, but I would love to highlight the fact that Wes Covina was out there and loading with a 3-year-old. And I will tell you, man, it was a joy to see. A joy to see, because the way she was reacting, everything she was doing was incredible. It literally brought a smile on my face. And I don't smile that much. I really don't. But that literally put a smile on my face. Teach them young. We have to. The more we can teach, the more we can pass on, the better. And
I had Grayson working the Dillon when he was 8, I think. And after about an hour of it, he turned on some music and all that stuff, and I was comfortable that I could walk away from him. I told him what to look for, and if he had any problems, stop, call me. And I had my own little sweatshop in the basement.
yeah, and the way Pat did it was good. If you haven't seen the video, go watch Pat's video, but it was pretty sweet. It's cool to see.
When I go to my buddy Richard's house, we call him Worm, the gear guy at work. We like to go up to his wormhole and load bullets. And his grandson, he thought it was the most important thing that he'd reach down in the bucket and hand me a piece of brass. And he'd do that. He wouldn't grab 5 or 6 at a time. He'd grab one at a time. He was exhausted after 500 rounds. He was young. I think he's only about 8 now, and this was several years ago. It was fun.
Yeah, I started all my kids out decapping every one of them. My oldest daughter, she's 17. Of course, she's got other things in life. She likes to shoot more than she likes to reload. But my littlest one, I can put her down here. She'll just have at it decapping on that RCBS hours and hours and hours, and I just let her do it. So that's probably why I haven't bought an APP press yet either, too. So
yeah, you buy an APP press, man, you should just go to Tawn even more.
Yeah, I'm sure she would.
I'll bring mine down one day for you, and you can borrow it for a week and let her have it, dude.
Chico's using slave labor too. Carter loves decapping brass.
I got to get Rigby doing that. I mean, she loves to pull that handle, and she loves to be on YouTube with you guys.
It's ridiculous, especially with like the APP press, man. I can sit there for an hour, 2 hours, and I've processed more brass than I even thought I had 10 times over. Many times. It goes so fast. And I'm not gonna lie, I got a couple issues with it, and I got the first model, so I'm not sure if it's just because it's the first model. I'm trying to get a hold of Lee right now, but I got a couple of issues going on with it, so we'll try and get them figured out. I did get a handle from Loads of Bacon. I got that on there. I've yet to make a video because I have some issues going on. I don't want to make it when I got issues because it's not the handle, it's the press. And so I'm trying to get that figured out. But again, I got to try and get a hold of Lee and see if they can help me out and figure it out.
Okay.
Sale this week too, actually. It's marked down to like $80.
Daniel. I guess I should go through the side chat since Chico ain't here. So we got Daniel God as my judge, the reigning casting champion. You lucky devil. Paul Loud, Teabag Party, Vanessa Kitty, West Covina Dodge, Inside Freedom. Hey Scott, welcome. Kingpin, what's up, brother? OCD Outdoors, Uncle John, Appalachian Reloader, Thoughts of an Old Soldier, Uncle John, James Pollard, the Crazy Scotsman is in the room, Boo Healer 260, PCC Kid, Thor's Axe, hey Dave, Uncle John again, Old Soldier again, Edward Petty, welcome in, brother. Kingpin, G. Pishner, Larry Palmer, Paul Loud, PCC Kid, Echo and the Bunny Man. I resent your link, Echo. Buzz T. Fork 8, Charles Irby, MCK is in the room right there. Let's see who else. Edward Petty, Red Raider Reloading, Big Al, AR Gun 1776, New York City Reloader. Hey Kevin, welcome. And that's all the way back to 818, and that's what I got.
Jamie, I saw someone was talking about they had a lot of brass to separate, and get yourself a couple of these bins here. I picked these up from Midway. Sorts out 9mm, 40, 45, and yeah, this is the ticket. Makes it a heck of a lot quicker to go through. I spent a lot of time just reading head stamps and throwing them in different buckets, but this little set here, I think, is like $40. It's a lifesaver.
All right, so real quick, we got a question out there if I did my run. Guys, no, I did not do my run, and for good reason. Wednesday night at work, I had some issues with my back and my shoulder, and so I've not done my run, so I apologize. I will get it done. I don't know if it'll be this weekend or if it's going to be later this coming week. I'm not going to be able to do a show this weekend because I got to work Sunday, unfortunately. But I will get it done. Trust me, just bear with me. And I apologize, but I'm getting old and body's falling apart. So, yeah. Give me a break.
What's up, Echo?
What's going on, gentlemen, ladies?
We were just talking about different stuff, and Squatch kind of we are almost, if not completely, finished with our beginning reloading series.
Yeah, we haven't seated bullets or talked about that.
Okay. That's something we'll get on. What I tell you about, what I would say about seeing bullets is sneak up on your mark very carefully, very slowly. Just go a little at a time, and don't overseed it.
Yeah, back your stem out way out. I can't tell you how many bullets I've had to pull. This is the main reason I bought a bullet puller, is because I had the seating stem too deep when I was just setting the die up, and it's a useless round. And I ended up with so many of them that I said, well, it's worth this $12 to buy this little bullet pulling hammer and just beat them back out, which, I mean, the little hammer works, but it is a pain. So just, it's always easier to pull the handle a second time till you get it set up.
Yeah, and if you do seat them too deep and you do have a hammer bullet puller, kinetic bullet puller, you can actually tap it lightly a few times and get the bullet to come forward more, as long as you haven't gone ahead and crimped it.
That's what we were talking about a little bit earlier. The seating and crimping in the same die.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that, because now you've got to pull the bullet all the way out.
Yeah.
And the bullet's probably going to be junk, because you've got a crimp ring on your bullet 25 thousandths higher than if you're doing rifle, 25 thousandths higher than where you wanted it. So
yeah, what's also good, if you get a bullet stuck that's too low and it's crimped, go ahead and seat the bullet a little bit deeper, and it'll break that crimp loose, so that when you put it in a kinetic hammer, it will come out easier. I found that to be a little bit of a help.
Say that again.
If you have a crimped cartridge and you measure it overall length and it's too short, if you put that same cartridge back in the seating die and you seat that bullet deeper by a minimum of about 10 thousandths, it will loosen that crimp onto that crimp ring. And when you put it in a kinetic hammer, it will come out a heck of a lot easier.
That's a good idea. So we want to say happy birthday to Mario. He's 47. Can y'all believe he's that old?
So can I take a second? Can I? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So Battle Bean, I want to commend you for a couple of things. Number one, I want to commend you for your service. We all appreciate you, and thank you for your service. Number two, I commend you for doing the run and showing your tactical carrier of sorts, if you want to call it. I'm not quite sure the words that we could use, but we'll call it a tactical carrier for your phone. Yeah, you did good there, brother. And then your time, man, 24 minutes. Honestly, dude, I don't know if I can beat it. I'm gonna try. Ball did 19. You guys are killing me. Again, I apologize. I haven't done my run. I'm all screwed up right now, but hopefully this week I can get it in. But we'll make it happen one way or another. And whether I got to do it or whether I got to make Daniel do it in my place, we'll make it happen. And but Balvin, we all love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for your service, sir, and happy birthday. And if you're out there and you're watching and you don't know the Battle Bean, go hit that damn button, slap it, smash it, subscribe, and let them know you love them, because the Battle Bean is awesome. Even though he's a little Mexican fuck, he's still awesome.
Okay, I'll do it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. There you go. I did.
Ain't no one singing you happy birthday.
I just did.
Kyle took the honors.
Why do I hear the lovely sound?
So another thing, since we're talking about seating bullets, when you guys seat your bullet, and the next step, most of us here on the panel is going to agree, we do the crimp next. So once you get your bullet set and your case overall length the way you like it, you apply your crimp. It's always a good idea to double check that measurement again to make sure that you're not pushing the bullet down when you crimp. So it's always a two-step process. You set it up once with your seating die, apply your crimp, and if you're moving that bullet down further into the cartridge with your crimp, that's also a first indicator that you're overly crimping the cartridge. So that's just the method I use. And then once both those dies are set, I'll run another cartridge back through, and usually I'm spot on, and then it's off to pulling the handle and throwing them in the magazine.
So I'm not sure if anyone's talked about it or not, but dummy cartridges. I missed the last one. So guys, I apologize. I didn't see it. But if you've talked about this already, to me, it's an important thing. No matter what I'm doing, whether I've ran it 100 times or not, I'm still doing a dummy cartridge and making sure my overall length and everything is all set the way I want it to be set before I start dropping powder. You have to do that. You're sacrificing one bullet. That's it. You're sacrificing one bullet, one case. Sacrifice it. It's worth it.
Yep.
It is. Let me interrupt briefly. Let's all sing happy birthday to Mario. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bobby. Happy birthday to you. All right, now after that, if you ever ask us to sing happy birthday to you again, I don't know, man. That was pretty pitiful.
I don't know, Jamie. Kyle, he's got a voice of an angel.
Oh, good.
He kind of does, don't he?
Haha, you killed it.
Yeah, it was my turn.
All right. Appalachian Reloader says, if you don't have data for the exact bullet, back off the powder charge and start low. That kind of goes without saying, but it needs to be said.
Yeah, you also want to worry about going too low. That's why they have a starting charge. And if you drop below a starting charge, you run the chance of squibbing your barrel or, causing a problem with the bullet itself getting caught in like a revolver in the forcing cone. And you don't know it until you pull the round the next time, and then you got a real problem.
But the good thing about squibbing a barrel is you can go ahead and slug the barrel at the same time. Just don't throw the slug away.
Yeah.
But you need to know that it happened before you pull the trigger the next time.
Okay, let me explain how I do this, Jason. And this is what Jason's talking about. I'll take the case, the empty cartridge, the brass, trimmed to the length that I want if it's a rifle. I tend not to trim pistol brass, but I should, especially my 357 Magnums, and I'm going to start doing that on my Magnums. But I'll take and put the brass in the shell holder and run the ram up and screw the die in until I feel it touching the brass. Okay, what you're feeling there is the crimp ring inside that die making contact with that brass. So it's kind of like doing this. So from there, I will back out that seating die one complete revolution and lower the ram and tighten up the lock ring there. And then I go about doing my seating job, my seating work, which on occasion, depending on the brass, depending on your bullet, and depending on your particular die, you may have to loosen that and turn it in a quarter to a half a turn if your seating stem is not long enough to seat the bullet deep enough into the brass that you want it. You may have to adjust that back a little bit, but I've only had to do that once or twice. So that's just the way I go about doing that to make sure that I've got that crimp ring well out of the way of my brass as it's coming up into the die so that I'm not getting any crimp at all. And then after I've seated all my bullets, the first seating operation you do is what Scotsman said, making your dummy round. And it needs to plink into your barrel. It needs to just drop and make that plink sound. Then you need to be able to grab the base of the head of the case and turn it in the barrel. And then you should be able to turn the barrel upside down, and that round should fall free without having to shake the barrel or anything like that.
You know, Jamie, that's a good point. And I saw a comment earlier when we were talking, I can't remember who it was, where it's talking about if you don't have the exact bullet that's in your load manual or data for, probably the first most important step that I do when getting a new bullet, you know, from a different company or whatever, is determine what my case overall length is going to be for that particular bullet. And you do that just like Jamie said with the plunk test, you know, setting it in there, making sure that you're bottoming out or it's seating on the case mouth and spinning. But then you need to work your load up. You know, you have to do some math and some thinking at that point if it's not in the load manual, but getting that overall length is the first step in getting that right before you move any further and use any load data.
Yeah, whenever you're making up a dummy round, I say it's key for so many reasons. You know, you got Jamie Squash that talked about a couple of those. One of the biggest ones is it's a new bullet, so you don't know. You really don't know. And when you go to your manual, for example, you know, I got 5 or 6 different ones. We compare data from every manual, but you may not have that exact bullet weight, and you have to try and sit there and calculate the math out. And when you're doing so, taking that overall length into consideration with the weight of what kind of powder charge you're thinking about is key. You know, I've, like, for example, 2 weeks ago, I went ahead and loaded up a whole bunch of rounds with a charge weight that I've used in the past, but with a bullet I've never used before. But it was the same bullet weight, same bullet type as something else I've used, but I still went ahead and set my dummy round, still went ahead and loaded that up, got it set the way I wanted it to be, and then double checked my overall length, plunk tested it, made sure it fit the whole 9 yards. You have to. It is key to the process. And especially when you're using a single stage or a turret press, the way they function sometimes will really determine how well your cartridges are going to turn out. For example, that Lyman 8, I love that press. I do. I love the press. It's awesome. But when you're seating that bullet, sometimes you can just give it a little extra, and for whatever reason, it'll take that little extra and it'll push that bullet a little too far. You got to be real careful when you're seating that bullet to where when you pull it down, you're hitting that mark, and you know when you hit that mark. And that's where a lot of this comes into play of just taking your time, understanding where you're at. Same thing on the 650. The 650, I got to watch for that with primers flipping on. There's a whole different thing there with that one. That one is primers flipping, and you learn as you go. But taking your time and just one step at a time is key. The biggest one, again, is do that dumbing run. For me, that is one of the biggest things that I ever learned that was key to the process is make that dumbing run and go from there.
And I'll add to that, it does, particularly in semi-auto pistols, it doesn't matter how good the load data is, how good the bullet is, how good the powder is, or primer, or anything about it. If it ain't going to function in your gun, it's worthless. Matter of fact, it's more harmful than good, and you just can't do that. You just got to make sure that it's going to function in your firearm. Now, once we've established our cartridge overall length with our plunk test and all that, and if you've got data on the exact same bullet, then you're golden. You can just, you can't go to max load if that bullet is seated deeper than the cartridge overall length in the manuals, because that's going to increase the pressure. So you've got to take that into consideration as well. And that happens more, you guys that reload, that happens more often than not, I think. Don't you think, Echo, Squatch?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you need to do is, for new people, because a lot of new people are going to be watching this and are watching this, if you contact the bullet manufacturer, they will give you a starting point for case overall length. If you tell them the bullet, the part number on the bullet, and you call Sierra Bullets and you ask them for 308 Winchester for this particular bullet, what is your case overall length? And that gives you a good place to start for like bottleneck cartridges, because you may want to make it a little longer and get closer to the lands depending on what you're trying to accomplish. With pistol ammunition, it's more of a balance. If you have the bullet too short, if the case overall length is too short, your pressure goes up and they tend to stovepipe. And what that is where the bullet, instead of going up the feed ramp and into the chamber, they go straight up and the slide closes on it and it looks like a stovepipe. So that's why they call it that. And basically, if you have it too long, you'll notice it catching in the feed ramp or on the breech of a 1911, because most 1911s aren't feed ramped unless they're a newer style and or a competition model race gun. But basically, it's a lot of trial and error. But what you want to avoid is a high pressure situation, especially in a handgun.
The other part of that too, when we're talking about case overall length, is you need to understand all of your. For example, I shoot. I have several CZs, the G word for Scotsman there, a couple Glocks, some SIG P320s, and what I'll tell you is, I bought several thousand Acme 124s to use for competition loads, and the difference between my X5 and my CZ TSO was like 4 thousandths difference. I could make a round plunk in my X5, spin, and then go chamber it in my TSO, and it wouldn't fully seat. So you got to understand, if you're going to plunk test, you're either going to build rounds for every barrel that you have, or take, like for my instance, I load everything to my CZ barrel and it fits everything else. Yep. So I want that load up so I don't have to have different loads for different guns. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't really make a bunch of difference when we're talking pistol rounds, but, that's something you need to consider as well.
And when you get to that point, that's kind of on the individual shooter. And I do the same thing as Squatch. I reload to my CZs, every other gun, it'll fit because the CZs are a tighter chamber. And it's gonna come down to the individual person, how you want your rounds to function. You can make them as accurate as you want to, but that's on you. And for me, and I'm guessing Squatch as well, and everyone else here too, is when we're doing this, especially for pistol, we're just trying to get that defensive accuracy. That's all we're looking for. And so I'm not looking for, all of my groups to be all right here within 100 rounds. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for that within this. That's what I'm looking at. And that's what anyone who is planning on that defensive situation should be looking at. It shouldn't be, I'm looking for this kind of group. It should be, I'm looking for anything within this particular box, because that box is where you're going to end that threat if you end up getting in a situation. And that's the way you kind of have to think about it. You don't think about trying to zero it to this, because that's not going to happen. When you get to rifle rounds, yeah, you can make it happen with rifle rounds, but you got a lot more work ahead of you.
That's
Yeah,
where
I
it's
want to
at.
get this group as fast as I can.
Yep.
That's what I do.
And that's the biggest thing. And one of the things that I've said over the years and teaching people and learning myself and growing more in the community and the things that I'm doing is, when you get in that defensive situation, one of the things that people ask is, well, how many rounds do you fire? Because everyone always goes to their chest, one in the head.
Mozambique.
Well, it takes a lot of accuracy to go 2 and 1. And it takes a lot of thought process to go 2 and 1. When in reality, what's going to happen is you're going to do what you have to do, and you're going to unload that firearm until the threat is ended. It's probably not going to be boom, 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 boom. It ain't going to happen. It's going to be boom, 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 boom until that threat drops to the ground. You're done. That's it. That's reality. We all like to think we can do the whole 2 to the chest and 1 to the head. Probably not going to happen. Especially when you're all worked up, your body's rocking and rolling, you got all that blood pressure going, the blood's not flowing through your arms the way it should be, because as soon as you start getting hyped up, blood starts moving up your body. It starts trying to run to your heart. It doesn't run to your arms, it runs to your heart and to your brain. And so it moves away from your extremities. Your extremities don't function the way you think they're going to function. They slow up. It's going to be tougher to get those kind of shots that you want to get. So it's all about that center mass and do what you got to do. That's pretty much how it ends up being.
If you're in a life or death situation, I've been in a couple of them, unfortunately. Your adrenaline and your dopamine start flowing in your body, and basically it can be triggered by a flight or fight response, but the overall thing is all your fine motor skills are gone. I don't care how many times you've been to the range and done fast action drills where you had loaded a magazine with the snap caps so you can simulate a failure to fire. And when it comes down to the real life situation, when you're trying to use your hands, they just will not work. The only thing that will make them work is muscle memory. And your average muscle memory takes 5,000 times repeating that same action repetitively before it is burnt into your brain. And you have to train like it really is going to be. You've got to have yourself adrenalized. If you have to, go outside the range, not with your firearms, unless that's legal, and do some jumping jacks get your adrenaline, get your heart rate up, then go in and try to shoot. Try to duplicate those situations where you're going to be adrenalized and your natural hormones like dopamine, and there's like 6 or 7 others that happen that will actually start pumping in your body. Your blood pressure skyrockets, but you lose feeling in your hands, you lose hearing, you lose a lot of you get tunnel vision. It's just like you think you fired 1 round when in fact you've emptied an entire magazine. Those are the kind of things you've got to expect. I mean,
one of the best ways to do that is to have someone else with you, standing behind you, and run a scenario. And when they're running a scenario, they're gonna play, they're gonna play the bad guy. They're gonna play the person narrating the whole scenario going on. But once it starts. Once they say, hey, you know what, someone's breaking in, blah, 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 your blood starts pumping, your brain starts moving, your body starts going. And before you know it, you don't even know what's going on. You have to develop that and understand it. And that's a good way to do it. Have someone else work with you and do those kinds of practices. It makes a huge difference.
Guys, that's good stuff. I hate to interrupt, but our brother Squatch is going to have to bow out. He's got company.
Yeah, we got some surprise company. So
can I say something before he disappears?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Brother, we want to congratulate you on 1,000 friends. Everyone out there is watching right now. If you have not seen that Squatch has hit 1,000 friends, and I'm sure he's over that by now. If you haven't seen that he's hit that, guys, please jump over, hit that button, and subscribe to this man. To say he's a friend, a brother, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for him, that's an understatement. He really is, and he knows it. The man has so much knowledge, it's not even funny. And I'm learning from him. He says he learns from me, but I call bullshit. He's learning. I learn from him all the freaking time. Every time he puts a video out, I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I really didn't. He makes me learn all the time, constantly. So, guys, go check him out if you haven't already, and please hit him up. He's one hell of a dude, one of a good friend, and congrats, brother. Absolutely, 100% congrats.
Well, I appreciate it.
That might be the quickest ever to 1,000.
Thank you, Squatch. You have a nice evening.
Thanks, Echo. But before I jump off, in this community, we're always learning from one another. I watch videos all the time. I subscribe to all you guys, and I think the collaboration that we do, even though we're on different channels, all that coming together, just making this community a lot smarter and a lot, thinking more and getting more people involved. And really, that's all we're here for, anyways. So I'm just glad to be part of it.
Yeah, you are. You're a great addition to the community, brother. We're glad to have you, and we're honored to have you on our show.
I appreciate it. You guys take care, and God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
See you, brother.
So we covered bullet seeding depth. We dipped into, have we talked about powders and what to kind of, powder charts, kind of understanding how they are and basically what they mean, the numbers.
Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Before we get into powders, and I will gladly let you explain that, we had a comment a way back. There's James Stewart. We need to address this. He's been measuring factory ammo, found them 1.272 high, 1.260 low. both worked fine in a 1911. So should I be okay at anything in between?
Well, it also depends on the bullet weight.
Bullet.
This is these are 1911s. I'm pretty sure what he's talking about. 45 ACP factory rounds. So you can do anywhere in between. You just don't want to. You want the key here, and I was hoping we'd get Squatch's input on this too before he bailed out. The key to our home line or to our hand loads is consistency. And if you got 12 thousandths variance in how deep that bullet is seated in that case. So it's sitting at a different point when it goes off. And if, let's say, split the difference and say they're all at 1.266, every single one of them is dead in the middle. All of a sudden, that group that's that big, now it's about half that size if you do your part. So the key to what we're doing is consistency.
That's one of the biggest things. That again, I go back to doing a dummy round. Get that dummy round, set it up for your barrel, and as you set that bullet in, just a hair at a time, because once you get it to where you have that free space, that's all you want. You don't want to keep pushing it and driving it and making it smaller and smaller. You want it just off those landing grooves to where it's going to start free spinning on you. That's all you want. Stop right there. That's what you want right there. And then start figuring out your powder from that point onwards. You don't want to make it longer. You don't want to make it shorter. As soon as it hits those points, it's probably going to be your most accurate round once you figure out your powder and get that all measured out. That's where you'll find that magic happening.
There's also the point of where each bullet is a little different, especially inexpensive factory rounds. Not so much when you're talking the self-defense stuff, that's a little bit more money. But when you're talking Remington, United, Metallic Cartridge Company, or White Box Winchester, or the Federal bulk packs, you're talking bullets that they have usually made for their production line of bullets that didn't pass their specs. So what can happen with these cheaper boxes of bullets is the ogives vary. So when you're measuring from the tip of the bullet to the head of the cartridge case, you may be getting different lengths, but from the point where the actual seating stem seats that bullet in the factory, it's grabbing the ogive, the largest part of the bullet from the tip of the bullet down is where that ogive is. That's the first part of the bullet that engages your rifle. So that ogive, if it is 4 thousandths lower on one bullet than the next, when your bullet seating stem seats that bullet, it's going to give you an overall length difference of whatever that ogive to base difference is. So that's something to consider as well. It means a lot in factory ammunition because I've seen it vary with inexpensive ammunition versus your match grade bullets up to 12 thousandths.
Well, I mean, even right now during this whole, whatever you want to call it, I'm not going to say pandemic because that's really not.
Plandemic?
It's this disaster. Guys, beware of factory ammo. Beware of factory ammo because they're pumping out as fast as they can pump it out. And there's nothing but issues. Last week I was on the range with guys I never knew, never met before, and I had my hand loads, and I was the only person on the entire range out of 10 people that had 0 malfunctions. They all had factory ammo that was well overpriced and had lots of issues. Be ready, be prepared, understand how to clear it, understand how to move forward. It's a tough thing to deal with when you're spending that kind of money and you expect it to run and it don't run. Just be cognizant of what's going on and do what you have to do to make it run. Don't hesitate, just move. It's hard to do sometimes, but seriously, it's just that whole smack the bottom of that magazine, rack that slide, and keep going.
Okay, today up at the range, unzipped my ammo bag, reached in and grabbed a Ziploc baggie full of about 200, maybe 250 40 Smith & Wessons that I had cast and powder coated and loaded, and all of them were that pretty dark blue, that Eastwood dark blue. Mark will tell you. I loaded up a couple of well, I had 3 magazines. One of them still had my carry ammo in it. But I loaded up 3 magazines for the girls with my, they'd never seen the, what is that thing? The Maglula.
Yeah.
That thing is really cool. You guys that don't have a Maglula, you got to get you a Maglula. Anyway, I loaded up these 3 rounds. I shoved one in my gun, racked the slide, 12 rounds. Bam, 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 bam. Not even acting like it was going to hesitate. So I understand what you're talking about, Scotsman. And I did those on my Lee Breechlock Pro Progressive. So I was really proud of that.
One of the biggest things while we all reload is we're customizing it for ourselves. We're customizing it for our firearms. And I always hear the whole thing of, well, I'm trying to save money. Yeah, you're saving a little bit of money, but the biggest thing you're doing is customizing to your firearm and making it better for you, making it better for your gun. And overall, your groups are going to be tighter because you are taking that extra little bit of time and dealing with it, where it goes from this to this, or even this, depending on how good a shot you are. Willie, kiss my ass.
Willie, check your email. Anyway, but I was really proud of how well that ammo functioned, and I'm shooting it at 25 yards, and I got like that. So, and they were shooting it fine. Y'all call 40 Smith & Wesson a neutered 10 millimeter, and so that may be, but when ladies are out shooting with you and they're sick of shooting 9 millimeter and they start shooting the 40, it's a really cool thing. When it was really nice to be able to let them.
I know this is a family show, and I love you, brother. I do, but it's not a neutered round, guys. I'm sorry. I gotta say this. I gotta clarify. It's a bitch round.
And we're all entitled to our opinion. So I like it because it has a lot. It has a good bit more power over the 9. It's not quite a 357 Magnum, but I really enjoy 40. I really like it.
That's exactly why you go 10 millimeter, because it's more than you expect, it's more than you want, and it takes care of everything. 10 millimeter is the way to go.
Jamie, bring forth the band hammer. My everyday carry is a Smith & Wesson M&P 40. I love it.
You got issues.
We all know that.
Very good point, Paul. So, all this that's going on, people can't find. Come on, Chris, dude, really?
Chris is right there with me, man. He gets it. He gets it.
I don't see how you guys who shoot as much 9mm as y'all do can really sit there and call badmouth the 40, because the 40's a good round.
Well,
Have you ever talked to the FBI?
the only
Yeah,
thing
you.
I don't like about the
Have you ever talked to the FBI? It's a serious question. Have you ever talked to the FBI?
not voluntarily.
I try to stay away from those.
Jamie, have you ever talked to the FBI?
I have not.
Okay, I have. I have the right to call it a bitch ROM because I've talked to them. I know where they're coming from. I know what they're dealing with. And yes, it's a bitch ROM because the FBI was the ones that pussied out and didn't want to deal with it because it had too much recoil.
Well, I think that's the people that are shooting it think that. The only thing
All I know is
that
when I drove tow trucks in Orlando, Florida, I responded to a Orlando police call one night, officer involved shooting, and a couple of guys had robbed a pawn shop of all their guns. And the guy driving the car was carrying a Glock 23. The patrol officer and his partner stopped them because they had picked up a prostitute. And they pulled over like they were going to stop for a normal traffic stop. The driver and passenger got out and opened fire on the police officers as they were exiting the car. They were using 40 caliber Smith & Wesson and Glock firearms. And the one officer was hit and killed instantly. The other one took 3 rounds in his body armor and hardly ever walked again. And this was over 25 yards away. So in my opinion, I carried a 40 for many years. I just went away from it because I've got some injuries to my wrist, and basically the snappy recoil affects it, and I've got a little arthritis, I think, starting. So it's not comfortable for me to shoot anymore. I tend to use the 9mm and it's fine, or even the 45 ACP. It's a more gentle shove to me than a real snappy, rapid recoil that's violent. So that's just my 10 cents on it. That round is more than capable.
I would really love to carry a 45. I love my 1911s. I've got several. And they're awesome firearms. I love them. But the only drawback I have is the ammo capacity, because you're talking about an 8-round magazine with 1 in the chamber, so you got 9. I've got 15-round capacity with a 40 and a pistol that shoots about as good as my 45s. I've got several different models. I've got Colts. I've got Turkish made, no names, that kind of stuff. They all shoot very good. That's why I still have them. I do not have a pistol that does not shoot good. The only other option for 45 is a Glock, and I've got a Glock 21. It shoots good. That's the only reason I have it. But the damn thing's like walking around with a howitzer on your hip. I mean, and that's coming from somebody that can actually conceal carry a full-size 1911. The Glock is just so big. You're not concealing nothing. You just got your shirt over it. That 40 Smith & Wesson, I wear it all the time at work, and I'll reach up to grab something in the warehouse over my head. Well, I didn't know you were carrying. I'm like, I don't leave the bed without carrying, you know. But you can't even tell I've got it on me, and it is more than capable of doing the job.
So to answer Dead Horse's question of FBI or accountants and lawyers, you really care what their opinion is on firearms? No, I really don't care what their opinion is, Dead Horse. It's more the fact that they were crying like little babies about the 40, and because about the 10 and wanted a 40 because they wanted a 10 millimeter short. When they should have just banned up and shut the 10.
And
That or got a 44, or they should have just banned up, but they couldn't man up, so they ended up going with the bitch 40.
Paul Loud, I totally agree with that statement. My father has an M&P Shield in 40, and the problem is the pistol is so small. There's not a whole lot of mass there, and the magazine is so short. I think it's what, a 6-round mag, 7-round mag. I even went so far as to buy him the extended mag, and that was better. He could actually shoot that, but he was shooting some of my hand loads, and he goes, "This thing just feels like it's going to fly out of my hand." I'm like, "Hold on to it then."
That's the problem with a lot of those too. Is the barrels are a lot shorter, the grips a lot shorter, and people think they can shoot it the same way as they can shoot a full size firearm, and that doesn't happen.
Not at all. And then by the time you get the bigger magazine and all that stuff to make it where you actually have something to hold on to, now it's too big to fit in your pocket. So now you got to figure out holster options for inside or outside or however you want to carry it. And then it looks like a Glock with a 30-round mag sticking out of the back of it. You can't really hide it. And it's a very small firearm to begin with.
And everyone thinks I'm crazy for carrying full size all the time. If you have the right holster and you have the right kind of clothing over the top of it, you can conceal anything. And I don't care, anyone out there, if you want to try and call BS on it, go ahead and call BS on it. I'll prove you wrong. There is nothing that I own personally right now that I can't conceal, and you'll never see it. Never see it. Whether it be my 44 Magnums, my 45s, whatever. I can conceal all of it. You'll never see it. It's all about what you have it in and how you hide it.
And it's also not always wintertime in Georgia and 99 degrees with 100% humidity. I'm not wearing a jacket.
It comes down to the holster, and it comes down to where placement is on the body and what kind of clothing you have.
Yeah. My favorite holster for that full-size 40 M&P is a Galco King Tuck. It's an inside the waistband holster. It fits the firearm perfectly, and it's actually
great holster. Excellent choice.
Yeah,
I've got quite a few of those, Kyle. They work very nice, especially in hot weather. They don't cook you.
And they're canted a little bit in. Like
yes.
The bottom's a little bit wider than the top, so it actually kind of helps with that. I mean, I can carry a full-size 1911 on my hip inside the waistband, and nobody, even in a rather tightly fitting T-shirt, and you can't tell that I've got it.
Hey, Meg, send me the RPG. I'll conceal it, brother.
Good answer, man.
Don't pull it off. I will.
A lot of new gun owners.
It will disappear. You will never see it. Send it to me.
A lot of new gun owners, when they go to buy a gun, they'll pick something small because they think it will be easier to shoot just because it's a smaller gun. And nothing could be further than the truth. I usually recommend anyone shooting a semi-automatic pistol for the first time to get a mid-size, maybe a compact, but something that's got a full-length grip frame on it, so they have more than enough room to get a firm grip on it and a good purchase, and it doesn't beat them to death. I've got a little Glock 42 in 380 that I sometimes carry, but I most of the time carry my little stainless Kimber Micro, which is like a miniature 1911 in 380 in stainless. And when I shoot those two guns, the Kimber will hurt my hand because you got a really thin back strap and it's not doing nothing but smacking you right there in your webbing. But the little 42, because it's a polymer frame, it will absorb some of that recoil pulse, and will actually is a much softer shooting gun.
That's because Glocks rule, baby.
Okay.
It's a family show, so I'm not going to speak, but Willie, you get the point.
I got you, baby.
Just for the record,
Jamie,
Kyle,
don't do that again.
Kyle's father and I carry the same. I have a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 40 that has been in my pocket, my front pocket all weekend. And you but to shoot it, it is a handful. It's pretty snappy in a little shield. It really is.
That little 380 pocket rocket I've got, that thing is not fun to discharge. I know it's just a 380, but it's so small. I mean, it's like a little midget cricket off a I want to say 2.5 Men, but it ain't. It's Men in Black. Yeah, little midget cricket that knocks him over there into the car.
I got a few cases coming your way, man. Don't ask me where the 380 came from because I have no freaking idea. But I got 380 coming your way.
Well, Scotsman, if you happen to fall across a pile of it, let me know as well.
It hasn't happened so far. I just have a handful, so I'm going to send it to Kyle. But if I come across a pile, I'll send it to you.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
Dead horse. That's pretty crude, man. It's funny though.
What'd he say?
He said, I like to carry a 380 also, Echo, in case there's a 9-year-old sitting around I need to toss a gun over to during a firefight to watch my back.
Wow. I just carry that one because it just fits in your pocket and it doesn't even look like a wallet. It's just nothing.
You know, it's sad when we get to a point where literally Dead Horse's comment of tossing it to a 9-year-old probably makes more sense than trying to call 911.
Yeah.
When I was
Dead Horse lives up there in Utah where it actually gets cold. It ain't like me and Kyle and Jamie down here in Florida and Georgia, where you may wear Bermuda shorts and a T-shirt 10 months out of the year.
Right. When I was looking at the cranky bullets and the 380, I was trying some different powders, and it was a totally different bullet for me, and I couldn't find a whole lot of load data. So I went on to Hornady's website or Hodgson's website and was playing around with some of their loads, starting out minimum, and I found some powders that I did not like in that 380. They were just really snappy. But I've finally settled on a load. I mean, we're only talking about, I think it's a 90 or 92 grain bullet. There's not much to it, but man, them things will zing.
Have you tried 231, Kyle?
Oh yeah. I got plenty of 231.
Is that pretty good? That's what I got for mine. I haven't reloaded them yet.
It does work good. I'm trying to think of what the heck I loaded it with that I ended up pulling the bullets. It was so uncomfortable to shoot in a stressful situation. I wasn't really sure that I could hang on to it. I mean, it was one of them, you know. This has got to be overpowered. I looked through 3 or 4 different loading manuals, even a cast bullet manual, and it was well below max. And I was like, good Lord, what are they shooting this out of? I mean, if it's like a Brown and high power full size or something like that, I could see it. But that little, it's just a little nothing.
But you compare the size of a 380 bullet to the average size of a 380 gun, the bullet is quite larger in scale than any other type of handgun.
Right.
short of like a 500 Smith & Wesson or a 45 auto would probably be the closest comparison, because of the size of the gun is not that much bigger, but it's that much bigger of a bullet.
It was Ramshot Silhouette that I used in that 380, and I did not like that at all. That's a very volatile powder. I mean, your maximum charge is 2.2 to 2.4 grains. That's your window. And I mean, so there's not that much difference because it's a very small case, but golly bum. I think tight groups is what I settled on because that's what I have the most of. So I got a couple pound jugs of that.
Sorry, Kyle, I don't mean to interrupt you. One thing I can say, and I came in between when Squatch was leaving, practice walking through your house in the dark. Learn your house so you can be blindfolded. What corners, where's a fatal funnel fire, where's bad areas to go. And that's my basic suggestions. Practice dry fire on that trigger. Dry fire. Get like the Scotsman said, have someone playing the bad guy. Get that heart rate up. Do calisthenics, whatever you got to do. Because I've been in a shooting, several shootings, and the one as a civilian, I remember pulling the trigger one time and I shot the guy 3 times. So adrenaline gets going, your finger's going to start banging away, and you're not even realizing it. And you don't want to kill the wrong person, basically.
I thought in the Romanian SKS, pull the trigger once and shoot him 3 times.
No, mine was a Smith 9mm. So
Lego hunting.
Somebody put 6-shooter Texan sport pistol. Is that a Shooter's World powder? I think it is.
I believe it is as well.
Y'all got to check out Shooter's World powders if you haven't. They make some really good powders that used to be more affordable than they are now, but they're still a better deal. And I want to take a second to welcome in Mr. Willie Bullet. Man, thanks for joining us, Willie.
No problem, buddy. Mark, you're being really quiet, bud. Well, thank you for having me come on.
He's probably still full from last night's dinner. God, we were miserable when we left there.
Alliance makes a sport pistol.
Okay.
I just have to say one thing. Give a shout out to Dead Horse. He found me a chair for my shop on Amazon that is Lee red, and it's got a back support, and I'm just excited till it gets here. I can't wait.
Nice.
That's really cool. Dead Horse is a nice guy.
I've got I got a little package in the mail from Sir Bacon. Should be here. I'm hoping it'll be here tomorrow, but it might be here Monday. And I think Jamie's going to come over here, and we're going to call up old Thorzax and get some advice on casting 12-gauge slugs. And he's sending me one heck of a care package. So that's going to be fun.
Speaking of care packages, you'll really like Pat. Let me put that up there. You'll really like that precision rifle and the Buffalo rifle I've used in 35 Remington, and it don't go as fast. It don't produce the kind of velocity I was really wanting. But I got a care package, and if y'all don't care, I'll show y'all some of it.
Sure, show it.
As long as it's
screen us. Big screen yourself, Jamie, so we can see.
Well, Mark's going to have to help me, so grab that box right here.
About to say, God, how big a box.
It ain't how big it is, and it's not small, but it's really heavy.
Scotsman, what you do?
First off, I got to thank Will Bulletman. He sent me an incredible thing that we're not talking about yet, but we will be talking about it soon. And you the man.
It was my pleasure, Jamie.
Hey, if it's pictures of my feet,
I got plenty of them.
I was waiting to hear you, Kyle.
Postage prepaid on that one.
Y'all didn't know. Oh, Paul! I told y'all you got to watch Paul. Let's do to make you laugh. I'm sorry. He can be so serious sometimes, and then he'll come out of left field with one that just.
And the bad thing is, Mark's in the room with you.
Right, I know. Pick that thing up and show him that box.
Oh, pick it up and show the box. Oh, yeah. Poor Mark.
So we're going to dig in here. Some of the stuff I hadn't seen. First of all, second of all, I thank Willie. First of all, thanks again, Willie.
You're welcome, my friend.
Mark brought me these and a box of bullets that's too heavy for me to tote up here to his room because you got to go through the lobby and get on the elevator and come up. But I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's
there you go.
Dies. And from what I can tell by looking at them inside here, and I'm sure you've looked at them, they appear to be new old stock. There's no telling when they were made, but they are brand new. Still got the oil paper in the package.
Way to go, Mark.
Got a name on the inspector sticker.
Oh, yeah. I wish Uncle Jim was here.
Is it Shirley?
No, it's even better than that.
Lucy. Oh, that's funny.
Lucy. All right.
Yeah.
Mark. Okay, all of this stuff came from. Before we get into this box that came from CW Longshot, y'all remember Sean Fisher from Black Bag Resources that was on the show back around when we were doing the fundraiser for Mike Treen?
Yeah.
He finally sent me the prize that I can't remember who won it, but it's as soon as I get through. One of the things I hadn't told y'all is I've lost my brother-in-law this week, so I'll be officiating in his funeral on Monday. But once I get that out of the way, I'm going to get that package out to him because that was back in December. But Sean sent me. I told him I was stuck on a build and I didn't have gas blocks. He sent me 2 gas blocks, Timber Creek gas blocks. And what I didn't know was that during the time that I was talking to him, Willie Bulletman was scheming with Echo and the Bunny Man, and I got a gas block from them that I put on my rifle, and then these are going to be we're going to share these. So
I know nothing.
So we're going to give one of these away, and then I'm going to send one of them to somebody who would need it. So basically, I got these pouches of bullets from CW Longshot. If y'all don't know CW Longshot, go check him out, and we're just going to have to cut these open, Mark.
He's a very nice man.
And he is a casting machine.
Yeah, people need to go sub him because he is a casting machine. He does beautiful bullets.
And there's one, this big one right here. I think I know what this is. Let's do that one first.
I'll say, Jamie, it looks awful funny. You sticking your hand in the box right where Mark's crotch is and he's smiling.
I wasn't going to say it. I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it.
You guys.
They did sit right across from each other last night at dinner. I think they were playing footsie.
Damn. Oh,
Oh, I
but
can go.
yeah, we ate at Olive Garden last night here in Rome. Myself and my wife and Kyle, Angel, and Mark. We had a nice time. Food was fabulous. The company was even better. I love Italian food. I should be better prepared than this. Look at those. Man, I can't believe he did that. Those are 357 Magnum brass. And not only are they 357 Magnum brass, they're all nickel plated. Can you believe that?
Wow.
That's awesome.
How many you reckon? Just at least 100, 250? Maybe. I'm going to say 100, 150.
All right.
Just guessing. Let's start cutting in them bullets. I'll tell you what, I'm going to cut this one open, then I'm going to pass you the knife, and you start cutting open the packages. We're going to run out of time. Make sure my hands are up here so nobody thinks evil thoughts. Y'all need to watch what you say because one of the sportscasters got fired from Fox for making those kind of comments. Oh, wow.
Getting fired for free speech is BS.
No, it's become the American way here lately.
No. You know what? If you guys ain't on Instagram, please jump on Instagram. I go check my last post, and I say it for good reason because I'm so tired of seeing all these different things, not only on the news, but on all these advertisements from various different companies of the new norm. We're not in the new norm.
I agree.
I'm sick of it.
Normal is normal.
Anyone that wants to call this the new norm, please go jump off a cliff. Please.
I hear you, bro.
If you got problems jumping off, I'll help you.
And make sure the cliff that you jump off of is either in Arizona or Utah. That way there's no water.
It's ridiculous.
All right, these are 190 grain wide flat nose size to 359. It says unknown maker. But they look a lot like the Lee 358, 158 round flats.
I'm thinking of censorship about anything conservative.
Lee 190 grain ranch dog, unsized, not gas checked, about 0.362 medium hard. All right, these are going to work in a lot of stuff for me.
I know what you're going to use them for.
Look at those.
He has beautiful bullets. I'm telling you. He loves those ranch dogs.
Yeah, those are going to go in some 350 Legend and some 35 Remington. I'm telling you. What we got here, Mark? Mark's on the ball. Not size. Lyman 314299, 200 grain. Need gas checks. Powder coated. Medium hard. Look at the size of those things. Those are some long bullets right there. Can y'all see those?
Yes, sir. I have some of those too. He sent me.
Those are. So these are 314. These are going in 7.62 Russian. What's next? Lee 145 grain size to 401. Check those out. I bet Kyle wants some of these. These are for the 40 caliber Smith & Wesson 145 grain.
I was going to
And
say I wouldn't mind playing with a handful of those.
those are semi-wad cutters. Can you imagine 145 grain coming out of a 40 Smith & Wesson?
You can make that puppy zing. I can tell you that.
Probably. And we got a NOE 360-232, 230 grain, wide flat nose, medium hard.
Oh, that's got 35 Remington Road all over it.
230 grain?
Hell
Wow.
yeah, let's do it.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, let's do it. It's only a 100-yard gun anyway. Come on, man, let's play with it.
Well, you
We
got to
lock
make it
right
change.
on there.
360. I can size those, and that's the last one. Okay, I can pull that out. Actually, these are frangible 40 caliber. Do not over crimp.
Right.
Use 180 grain data. Okay. So these are frangible, again, 0.40 hollow point. So they're just going to hit whatever and bust all the pieces. I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shoots a lot of steel.
They're made, Jamie, those are made to shoot steel targets. That way there's not a whole lot of shrapnel coming back at you. The bullet just disintegrates.
So let me ask you guys something. I'm still fairly new to building ARs. I've built a bunch of them. I built one for someone else, and they called me the other day. They're having issues. It's not ejection's kind of off here and there, but they're getting a lot of gas coming back in their face. So it doesn't make sense, because if they're getting a lot of gas coming in their face,
right at you, baby,
then the ejection technically still be okay.
That's an echo problem.
Can you say it again? I'm sorry. I was fooling around when you said it.
They're getting they're not ejecting properly from a 223.
So it's a fixed gas block, and it was a cheaper build. It was a budget build, but I did everything the way it's supposed to be done. Put it together, sent it to him, gave it to him, the whole 9 yards. He took it out. He had some issues the first time around. It was probably, I don't know, a month after I gave it to him. I'm like, dude, you need to oil the gun first because it's dry. He oiled it up. He shot it, had zero issues. Apparently, he bought some other magazines and put these magazines in, started trying to shoot it, and nothing but issues. Now, obviously, first thought is magazines. But he's saying he's having ejection issues.
I'm good.
Obviously,
You
that's
want to
what
eject? Scotsman, it's not ejecting?
it's not ejecting all the way. So it's trying to push it out, but it's not pushing it all the way. So you'd think a gas issue, but
It's factory ammo?
yeah, it's factory.
I'm thinking the gas hole's too small in the barrel.
But before that, what you need to do is, Scotsman, get you a dummy round. Magpul makes little plastic ones. Those are what I use. I can't remember what I got them with from Magpul, but I got some plastic dummy rounds, or you can use a snap cap, put that in the chamber, take the muzzle device off, and use a rubber tipped blow nozzle. Turn your pressure up to about 100 PSI and blow it and see how much air you're getting out of the gas tube and how much force it's pushing back on the actual dummy round. If you're getting a limited amount of air through the gas tube and it's pushing like hell on the round, You either have a gas block that is not aligned correctly because possibly they drilled the hole in the wrong spot, or the gas port hole is not the right diameter.
All right, so let me throw this out there too, because I've never dealt with this because I don't shoot it ever. He's shooting steel case ammo.
Okay, there's your ejection problem. What happens is steel case ammo does not expand as far as brass does. And because of that, it lets a lot of that gas come back past the cartridge casing and forces a stiff ejection because it's trying to eject the round while pressure is pushing the round itself, the casing of the round, against the bolt face, which is causing pressure on his locking lugs. If he will shoot brass cased ammo, that problem will eliminate itself.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just thinking the gas hole is too small, not getting enough gas to push it all the way back.
No, and dead horses out there saying too, again, an adjustable gas block. It may well be, because it was a cheaper barrel. Again, he was on a budget build, and so it's quite possible, because when I aligned the gas tube, the gas block with the gas tube and on the hole itself, it was a pain in the rear end. It really was a pain in the rear end to line that up. And I did the best I could with what I had. So I even told him when I gave the rifle to him, I'm like, if you have any issues with it, let me know, because, it wasn't the easiest to line up. So it may well be he needs an adjustable gas block.
Well, I think first thing you need to do is, like Echo says, make sure that gas block is lined up with that gas hole in that barrel, because the set screws, those little dimples that they screw into.
It's set, brother. Trust me. I took a lot of extra time to make sure it's set. I have the rifle back in my possession. I got to take it to the range. I'm gonna go shoot it and see what's going on. He had one case get stuck in the barrel, so I took that, already knocked that out earlier this morning. Again, he was shooting steel cased ammo, so I'm gonna take. See, part of the problem too is the magazines he had. I don't know where the hell they came from. They're not American made magazines. I'm not knocking foreign magazines by any means, but they don't have the anti-tilt follower. They don't have the full space across the entire magazine itself. So automatically, right off the bat, you got issues with the rounds going in the magazine and how they're going to sit in the magazine. So to me, that's issue number one. Apparently, his buddy gave him these magazines because they were, super cheap, whatever. Yeah, they're super cheap for a reason.
Yeah.
But again, he shot that steel cased ammo, it locked up. So then he called me, and I was like, "Well, just give it to me, dude, and I'll see what I can do with it." But right now, it seems like I took a fresh Magpul mag with 30 rounds in it, and I cycled it dry, and every single one came out zero issues, no problem whatsoever. The ejection was 100% every single time in the same spot, same place, no matter what. Literally within 1,000th or 2,000th of where the last one landed. So to me, it's not an ejection issue. It's probably a gas issue, if it's anything. It's not the actual ejector itself. It's probably a gas or a mag issue.
Yeah, the only other thing that you want to consider is a lot of barrels that are on the cheap side. When you index the gas block onto the barrel, 99.5% of them all go against the shoulder that's cut, where it tapers down to 750 for 9 out of 10 barrels, when you got a pencil, you get the 620, what is it, 625 or 623?
Yeah, 625.
Yeah. What happens is on a lot of cheap barrels, you won't go all the way back to the shoulder. You will go 20 thousandths forward of that ledge, that 90-degree ledge. And I've seen that on a lot of inexpensive barrels. And I've also seen the same problem people brought in when I had my SO7 shop. When people would bring in guns that wouldn't cycle, I would always align it with a bore cam so that I could actually see the holes match up. But if you don't know for sure, mark with a micrometer from your hole to the shoulder, and then measure from your inside of your micrometer or inside of your gas block from the hole to the back of the gas block, and see if those are within 1,000th or 2.
Yeah, Mr. Pollard's saying that now.
Yeah, and I took my time making sure it was right because of the way it was, and it's not a BCA barrel. I'm not even sure what the hell a barrel it is. It was a cheap barrel like NC or NCA or NSA or NTA or some crap like that. I forget the hell it was. It was a super cheap barrel. But yeah, no, I took my time trying to line that up and make sure it was 100%. But I never took it and shot it before I gave it to him because I built a bunch already and I didn't think I was going to have any issues. But I've never used cheap parts myself, and I'm not made of money, but I take my time and build these things piece by piece by piece, and I spend the money piece by piece by piece to make sure it's right. So I've never had an issue, but no, I'm coming to building a cheaper rifle and having issues and going, what the hell?
Yeah, Mr. Pollard said a good thing. Adjustable gas block is not made for more. It's actually made for bringing the gas down. So if you need more gas right now, either the block's not lined up right or the hole, or it could be like Echo was saying, sticking, not swelling up enough to get out.
I don't think more gas is the problem, because he's getting gas blowback in his face, so it can't be more gas. He's already getting enough gas. Something else is going on.
Get rid of that cheap steel stuff. I've been lucky, and I'm knocking on wood. I can shoot steel or brass out of mine. I'm lucky.
Before he shot the steel, he had a whole bunch of brass, and he shot, I don't know, half a dozen mags or so through it, no problem, and now he's having issues. And I'm like, well, it's probably the steel-cased ammo.
Yeah, that shows it right there. If it did all the brass fine, all of a sudden it's having a problem with steel, then there's your problem. That's one-on-one right there.
Yeah.
Have them put several more mags of brass through, and that fires, then tell them to sell off that steel crap.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. He was just the steel cased and with the magazines as well, because the magazines are super cheap.
And also tell him to buy some Lancer or some P-Mags. I haven't found a rifle yet that won't cycle ammunition with one of those two brands of magazines. Stay away from the Korean magazines. They're garbage. They're all junk. The ones made in China, they look like they're made for airsoft rifles. That's how the quality you're getting. Now, it may be hard to find a P-Mag or a Lancer mag right now, but as soon as you can, it's time for you to buy a lot of them. Sometimes,
the magazine he gave me was a Korean magazine.
Yeah, those are junk.
And I sent him a picture. I pulled my P-Mag out and I sent him a picture and was like, hey man, look, this is the differences here, 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 and here. And I can guarantee you 90% of your issues is this magazine. I got to take it to the range and shoot it because I'm going to do my due diligence because I built it. So for me, I have to personally. I'm not gonna hand it back to him and say, hey, it's just a mag issue. I'm gonna do my due diligence because I built the firearm. But to me, I think 90% of his issues is probably his magazines and probably his ammo. but we'll get it figured out one way or another.
Yeah,
I
the
would tend
problem
to
is
agree.
a lot of those Korean and Taiwan and these magazines are being made overseas. And the problem is their dimensions are off because they have stacking and they don't keep a tolerance. So what happens on a lot of them, I've seen in the Korean ones especially, is that they'll insert into the mag well too far, which causes the lips of the magazine to ride the bottom of the bolt carrier, which cause all kinds of jamming problems with loading and cycling, not to mention slowing the bolt down, which retards the ejection. So, I mean, it could be half a dozen or one in, whatever that expression is, 1 in 6 or half a dozen in the other. But I would get good magazines with quality ammunition and try it like that. And if you don't have a problem, there's no problem with the gun. There's just 90% of the time it's the magazines, and then there's probably another 5% of the time that it's the ammunition you're trying to shoot through it. And the final 5% is something wrong with the gun. Very rarely with an AR, if it's put together right, are you going to have a problem. It's when you try to do
thing. Like and I'm not saying I know what I'm doing by any means. I've built a bunch of them already, but I've never had an issue personally. So when he called me and he's like, "Hey, I got an issue," I'm like, "Okay." My first thought was gas block, but then he's like, "Well, I'm getting all this gas back in my face." I'm like, "Well, obviously it's not gas because you're getting gas back in your face. It can't be that." That's obviously pushing too much gas, so that's a whole different issue in itself. But then
what kind of bolt carrier group? What kind of bolt carrier group is he using?
Oh, dude, I'd have to go back and look. I honestly can't remember. I mean, I built this thing over a year ago.
Yeah.
Check
the pressure.
I'll say that, again, it's if it's could be the bolt carrier itself, because Dead Horse mentioned that out there too. It could be the bolt carrier itself, especially with all the extra gas coming back. It could well be the bolt carrier. So I'll have to look at that.
Check the gas key, and basically what you can do is you can put the bolt in its closed position and hit the gas key with a blow off nozzle with a rubber tip right in the opening with about 100 psi. That bolt should jump forward, but spray a little Windex around the gas key where it bolts to the top of the carrier. And if you got any bubbles coming out of there, for a fact that gas key's not, and that causes a lot of problems. When they stake them incorrectly, if it was a cheap bolt carrier group, they could have pinched one of those bolts and caused it not to seat all the way, or caused it to loosen itself up by the way they staked it. And it can actually cause that key to leak. And if it's leaking gas there, that explains a lot of things. It's going to, and plus, when you're shooting that Wolf ammunition, that isn't a 5.56 load. That is a 223 Remington load. So you already are having 15,000 psi less pressure than a 5.56. So that, combined with the steel case and possibly a leaky gas key or maybe a bad gas ring, that could be causing it as well. Just go through the rifle. If you need to, get my number from Jamie and give me a call. I'll help you with it, brother.
All right. Yeah, absolutely, man. I've built a whole bunch, but I've never dealt with issues. So yeah,
right.
I'll get with Jamie, and if need be, I'll give you a shot, brother. And I appreciate that very much, because trust me,
not a problem, Scott. You help a lot of people in the gun community. It'd be my pleasure.
Yeah, Andy's got a good point there as well.
That dirty son of a
Andy's got a good point there. Could be a clogged gas port, particularly if he's using that steel case ammo, because it's got lacquer.
So he only fired one round.
In the magazine.
He only fired one round of steel case, and then it locked up. So I don't know if there was issues prior or not. He said there wasn't. They got these new magazines and then used a steel case ammo and shot it in the first round. It locked up. So
Yeah, that's kind of
When it
obvious.
locked up,
Anyway, guys,
when it locked up, what did it do? What do you mean when it locked up? The bolt carrier locked in the locked position?
yeah, he had to break the gun apart. He couldn't get it out. He had to break it apart. He gave it to me in 4 pieces.
Okay. Basically, that steel case, when it went to expand, the chamber might be a little big on that particular barrel. So when the steel case did not expand enough, it put all that force of that 60 or 50 or 40,000 psi because it's 223 back on the locking lugs.
Hold on. I'm going to try and show this.
Yeah, you can see that.
Is it galled? Yeah.
Yeah.
See all that edge?
Yeah.
That edge is like burrowed. It's like knurled inside.
Yeah, that's galling. That's from it putting all the force of the cartridge back onto the bolt face and pushing the locking lugs. You're lucky he didn't blow up. Basically, I would definitely be suspect of that barrel.
Like that. Lucky he didn't crack that ring.
Yeah.
So you think it's more likely the barrel's an issue?
It may be a barrel issue. It may be a bolt issue because did you check the headspace on it when you were building it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. You need to get a set of go, no go gauges and see if that bolt, well, it's going to be hard to tell because you've got galling on the bolt locking lug surfaces, the bearing surfaces. So it's not going to give you a true reading. What you can do is replace the bolt with one of your bolts out of your AR-15s and see if it passes a go, no go gauge. And my guess is it's probably going to go into battery on a no go gauge. And that's telling me that the chamber is excessively cut deep. And that's causing, instead of a case head separation, what kept that from doing that is the steel case wouldn't separate. So it pushed back against the bolt face and it caused galling on the actual lugs. And that's where the pressure was coming back into his face. I think you may have a barrel issue. I'd find out who made that barrel and then talk to that company. But if that left those kind of marks, it's got to have left those kind of marks also on the barrel extension on the inside. Scott, can you tell on the inside of the barrel lugs if they're got galling on them? There's.
I mean, when I finally got that case out and was able to look in there, I mean, sorry, Jamie, I'm not trying to swear. There's even shavings of brass inside there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would suspect that barrel, number one. That would be my first guess. But the bolt needs to be replaced, and I would replace the barrel as well, because bottom line is you don't want any of the heart of an AR-15 is its bolt carrier group. Its lungs or its barrel. And if either one of those have a problem, you're going to have a big problem, because the AR-15 is not like any other firearm. It's not made out of a steel receiver. It's made where the bolt and the barrel itself contain all of the explosion.
Sorry, guys.
And basically, if you don't have the right amount of tension on that case, you know, if it's swelling up, I would have liked to see the brass that he shot through it, and you measure that and see if it is way past SAMI maximum. And if it is, then you know the chamber isn't cut right on that rifle.
Just be careful, Scotsman, doing it. You know.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a go no go gauge, remember you got to pull the extractor out of the bolt.
Yeah, I was gonna break the bolt apart and check the bolt and all that, and make sure it was in spec.
Guys, we're over time, big time, so we need to start going through the room and wrapping this up. But I hate to interrupt. That's some good stuff. We're getting some really good comments in the side chat. And good night, Uncle John. Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Good night,
Uncle
Andy.
John. And Andy, yeah, actually, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll shut up, man.
Appalachian Reloader, and he's at work, so he's got to get back to work. So, guys, it was pretty fun. Plowboys Ghost caught the end. So let's just talk about what we're working on. So, Kyle, you there? You want to start?
Yeah, I'm here. Gonna play with a less than lethal weapon that I finally got in the mail. Ordered it in March. Shoots 68 caliber projectiles with the CO2. I'd show it, but I don't want to get Jamie in trouble.
Paintball gun?
Excuse me?
You got a paintball gun?
Essentially. Except
It's a pepper ball.
it shoots tear gas and pepper gas. And yeah. I'm going to play with that, and I think I've suckered my buddy down the street into being a guinea pig for the tear gas round.
Woo-hoo.
I got a funny story to tell you afterwards about one of those type of incidents.
And like I said, Bacon is sending me the Italian slug mold, the Russian mold. I don't know how you can get Russian and Italian in the same mold, but the fire hydrant.
I was bald and curious.
With some tools and little tips and tricks and everything. He said he's going to throw in the box. So that I'm hoping it's here tomorrow, probably Monday. But that's coming up. Other than that, next week's going to be like Hell Week where I work. They're going to bring about 30 more brand new Peterbilts to the dealership that they want delivered by Friday. So I'm going to step out of the parts room and become a mechanic again and just start knocking out some of these brand new trucks and getting them ready to be delivered. It's what I was doing today, and that's why I didn't get out of there. I'm supposed to get off at 3:30. I got out of there about 5 o'clock. That's how I missed the chili dog, the great chili dog eat off. We're getting everything ready for next week. It's going to be rough. It's supposed to be raining for the next 5 days, I think. So it'll be fun. But other than that, Scotsman, what you got going on? Good talk.
He's got to run. He's going to have to run. We're still accepting donations for Justin's final mission. We'll get $4,000. Me and Bearded CB's going to be shaving our beards.
I done threw mine in on the gauntlet too.
Wait a minute, Bearded CB is removing eyebrows too.
Yeah, he's doing
He's got to take his eyebrows, man. Come on. Y'all got to step up and jump in on that one. See,
well, I mean, you can't really put too much weight in that. He's got a pink toolbox. I mean, come on.
Pink toolbox, eyebrows off, beard off. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's going to happen? All right. Here's the thing. If you guys can make this happen, I will guarantee you, I will get him to change the name of his channel. It will no longer be the Beard CB82. I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be, but it's going to be something good. And it will be along the lines of the whole Janice Gay thing. So stay tuned. But you got to make it happen.
Now, hang on, Scotsman. I think I'm going to dare you. If they give an extra grand, you shave your beard off.
Not happening.
Come on, man. It's for the mission. It'll grow back, baby. I didn't say mustache. I just said remove the
I
beard.
shaved my beard. I shaved my head, the entire 9 yards a long time ago, and that was for a good reason. And
Come
this
on,
beard
sir.
right here,
Big
this
bad
right
Willie.
here.
Come
this
on, reach
entire
down
thing-
and grab those titanium balls and put your beard up on the money.
Big bad Willie just walked up with a solid steel glove and threw that sumbitch at your feet. What
Hey,
you do?
this thing represents a little bit more, so it ain't happening, man. I love you to death, but it ain't happening.
Just had to throw that out there.
Okay, Echo, what you got coming up?
Still working on 223 Remington. I'm gonna keep loading that up and try to get to the range this next Saturday. And I'm also doing a how to break down your AR-15 and clean it for new time gun buyers that have purchased ARs this year.
Will they let us do that anymore?
I don't care.
Well, there were two couples at the range today with us, right, Mark? Both of them were new, and they were having locking up issues. One couple was their guns kept locking up. So, Echo's out there trying to help educate and give supply information to the new folks, and we appreciate that. So, thanks,
Since it's not
Echo.
a firearm, Jamie, can I show it? It's not a firearm. It shoots balls. Can I show it?
Yeah.
All right. This is the Byrna less than lethal weapon platform. 68 caliber. CO2 cartridge goes right in there. I wonder if my pistol light will fit on that. It might. Got a safety on it and all that stuff. Works like a regular firearm, but it's not. But I got the green one because I thought it looked cool. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, that's cool. Willie, what you got coming up?
Well, I'm playing around with some 300 blackout. Look at those little double-ended wad cutters from Mr. PC Bullet Empire.
And 300?
300 blackout. And
wow.
Let me see if I can show it right there. See that purple? 270 grain 350 Legend.
Oh. I thought you were about to say 300 blackout. Like, what?
Well, I got another blackout, and this was from Nighthawk 6, a nice 80 grain zinc bullet. It's going to go down the barrel.
Okay.
All right, guys.
My wife says hi, everyone.
Hey, wife. Hope you're doing well.
She can't hear you. She gone.
I'm about to say she left.
Yeah, she left.
Anyway.
She dropped food off and left.
All right, we missed Chico tonight, y'all. Maybe he'll be back next week. We're hoping. It was an honor to spend the weekend with my buddy Mark and to meet Sharenda and Jasmine, and so it was a very good weekend. And I got something in mind. I don't think we're going to be able to do Dead Zero this year the way this stuff keeps going on and getting worse and stuff like that. So I got another trick up my sleeve that we're going to be checking out. It will be here in Georgia instead of Tennessee if that happens. So anyway, guys, we're in touch. Y'all be in touch. Check us out on Georgia Shooting Connection. Instagram, we're at Georgia Shooting Connection at gmail.com if you need anything. Have a great week, rest of your weekend, and Lord willing, we'll see y'all next week, and we hope God blesses you all real good.